making a cocktail here? What do we need lime for? Kids, don't tell your parents. All right, we made it to number 13, the one you've all been waiting for, and this is a doozy of a bag. It is none other than, hold your breath, wait for it. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm coming at you with a more unique video than what I usually do, and this is going to be all about the 13 most popular bags right now that I won't buy. Probably. Now, when I am looking at a bag and am considering adding it to my collection, there are a few factors that I consider and go through to see if it hits those points. Now, the primary point that I consider is the price point of the item. Is it within a reasonable budget that I'm not going to be needing to sell a kidney or go without food for a week in order to afford this bag? It has to be within my budget that I could easily afford it before I even consider adding it to my collection. Another key point that I really look at is, does it hold its value? Is this a super trendy piece that within a year I'm gonna only maybe get half or less on the bag? Or if I do need to resell it in a month or a year or in 5 years down the line, am I gonna get back about what I paid for it? So that's a main item that I look at. If I were to keep the bag in nice, pristine condition, how much would I be able to get back? I typically don't purchase bags for investment pieces as far as wanting to resell them, keeping them in a box on a shelf, not touching them, and hoping that they gain value. I do purchase pieces that are considered investment pieces that will maintain their value, but not solely for the chance to sell them hoping to gain a profit. Another key element that I look at is the functionality of the bag and how it will suit my lifestyle. If it's a bag that is just absolutely gorgeous, but I'm never gonna use, or maybe only use once or twice because I'm scared that I'm gonna damage it, or I just can't really use the bag in a way that I would like, then that is gonna be a waste of money, and there's no reason that I should purchase that bag just to sit on a shelf and look pretty. A bag is a functional piece that should be added into the wardrobe as an accessory, but also something that you're gonna wanna use every day. Now, along the lines of being able to hold its value and wanting to also use the bag, I'm gonna wanna purchase a piece that I'm not gonna have to worry about extensive wear and tear over time, or things like color transfer, nicks, scratches, anything like that. I wanna be able to use the bag and not have to worry about it. So I am really picky in the pieces that I do add. I take into account the color. Is it a light color? Am I gonna only wanna wear this in the summertime? Maybe I'm gonna be wearing light colored jeans, or is it gonna be a lambskin piece that I really have to baby it and maybe only take out on nights if we're going to dinner and sitting down, and it's not gonna be moving or touching anything that could potentially damage the bag. And then finally, I compare potential future pieces with the pieces that I already own. Maybe I already have a bag in that color and that same style, and adding a new bag just because it's nice, new, shiny, and pretty isn't going to add any more to my collection than what I already have. And again, it would end up being a waste of money because one of those two bags I would no longer use. So I would either need to sell the old one in order to justify the new one, or I just wouldn't buy the new one at all. Now, I've itemized out this list of bags based on designer, and there's no rhyme or reason as to the order, so I don't dislike or like any bag more or less depending on where it falls on the list. And I actually really love all of these bags. There's just something about them that doesn't necessarily work out for my style, which is why I wouldn't purchase them. But if you have the bag and absolutely love it, I'm not trying to put these down at all. If I had plenty of money, I would go out and buy all of these tomorrow. But unfortunately, they just don't add enough for me to justify this luxury purchase price in adding them to my collection. So first off, I'm gonna start with Louis Vuitton, and I am going to kick it off with a doozy, and that is gonna be the Pochette Métis. Now, I was in a Louis Vuitton store, and I did have the chance to look at this bag in person, and I did have the opportunity to purchase it if I wanted to. And I will tell you, this bag is absolutely stunning. It is a really good size, and the interior lining is super soft with that luxurious suede inside. And I love the fact that this bag is compartmentalized, because there is a different section if you want to separate out your items so that way you can access them really easily. And then there is even that exterior zipper pocket for your phone on the back, so that way you can get that out really quick. Now, the reason that I'm not getting this bag is because they already have the speedy bandolier, and as far as my lifestyle goes, it would offer the exact same functionality as the Pochette Métis. It has the long strap for a crossbody feature and a nice interior for a large storage capacity. Now, the thing that the Pochette Métis does not have that the speedy bandolier does offer is the larger top handle. I love the fact that the speedy is really versatile, whereas with the Pochette Métis, if you were to take the long strap off, all you're left with is more of a hand carry bag with that tiny little strap. And then the Speedy bandolier also holds a lot more. So when I was looking for a travel bag, what I liked about the Speedy is the fact that I could fit a whole bunch in there, and then I could also be hands-free with the long strap. Now I could do the same thing with the push-up Matisse, but it doesn't hold quite as much. So I don't want to be limited for the amount that it holds for travel. I want to be able to put all of my items in there. And so since the push-up Matisse does not offer enough differences and advantages from the Speedy, that's why I wouldn't consider adding it to my collection, just because they are so similar. I would end up using one more than the other, and then one would kind of go to the wayside, and I wouldn't really get a very good cost per wear on them. And as far as the compartments go, I do have an organizer for my Speedy, so I can have everything sectioned out, so I don't really have to worry about not being able to find something in that, because I'm easily able to grab it wherever I need to, because I know right where my items are going to be. Next up from Louis Vuitton is the Palm Springs mini backpack. Now I really love this piece because it does have that long strap. It is really versatile, so you can use it as a backpack or even as a shoulder bag, and it does have that black leather on the strap, so you don't have to worry about getting any vachetta dirty or patining over time. It's a super carefree bag. Now bottom line, this is a backpack, and I'm not a huge fan of how it opens up around the edge, and then it's covered by that additional piece of canvas that kind of covers over the zipper, so it can be a little bit difficult getting the zipper up and trying to work it around that extra canvas piece without it getting caught. As a backpack, I can totally get that. That's how they're made. Everybody's used to it. But as a purse, I don't want to have to deal with that. I want to be able to just have a top zipper, open it up, and get right into my items. Now, using it as a backpack, I really only use backpacks when I'm out traveling and need to carry a lot of items, and I want to make sure that they are secure and comfortable on my bag. When I am traveling though, I tend to go with a lesser pricey bag, because if I'm traveling, I don't want to have to worry about it getting damaged at all or anything happening to it. So I usually go for a non-luxury designer piece in that aspect, just so that way I don't have to worry about it. And excuse my dog, she keeps snoring. I'll introduce you to her in a little bit here, but those weird sounds, those are coming from her. She's sleeping on the floor under my feet here. And finally, the last bag from Louis Vuitton is the Capucine bag. I hope that I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I am absolutely in love with the top handle design and the fact that these bags are all leather. This bag here is my absolute dream bag if I were to purchase it. I really love the black with the little details on it. I think it adds something extra to the bag that's really unique, kind of like a bag charm would, but it's a lot more higher class looking. Now, the main reason that I'm not going to be buying this bag is because of the price point. I could easily purchase a Chanel classic flat bag for right around that same price, and I know that the classic Chanel flat bag is going to maintain its value and be in style for many, many years to come. Since the flat bag has been around for what, 50, 60 years already, and the Capucine is a little bit newer, I know that the classic flat bag is going to be a much better investment. The Capucine bag are quite heavy because they are completely made of leather. So as far as my lifestyle goes, there's a lot more functionality with the classic flat bag. Since we are comparing the same price point, I would prefer to go that route. But moving on to Chanel, I am just going to start off, drop the bomb, and say that I am probably not going to be purchasing the Chanel Jumbo Classic Flap. I already have the medium large classic flap, and I have been to the store a few different times, tried on the Jumbo multiple times, and for me it is just way too big. I find that the chain is really, really long, even if I do wear it as a crossbody, and if you know me, I love a good crossbody, but it is just too long, and the bag itself is really large, and I just wouldn't have any use for that, because within the bag, I don't like having to pile my items on top of each other. I would rather them be more horizontal, so I could just reach in and get what I need instead of having to move something off of another item and then go under it, which is what you would have to do with the Jumbo because it is so tall. It does hold a bunch, which is great for an everyday bag if you're somebody that carries a lot. But for me, since I already have the classic flap in the medium large style and other designer bags that are a little bit larger that can hold more things as an everyday bag that I could use, I don't really have a need for a Jumbo, and they're just really too big for my frame. So that is why I'm not going to be purchasing the Jumbo Classic Flap. Probably. Along the same lines of the Chanel Jumbo Classic Flap is going to be the Chanel reissue that I probably won't buy. I really like the style that came out recently with the So Black and then the aged calf skin, but that's probably the only one that I would consider purchasing. I am really in love with the classic CC turn lock And I like the fact that it shows off more of the Chanel style, even though the other one, the Mademoiselle Turnlock, is more vintage and that's what she actually created. I prefer the Karl Lagerfeld double CC clasp, and so that's why I probably won't be getting the reissue, just because it's not the exact style and look that I'm going for. I really like though the fact that the large size in the reissue is slightly larger than the medium large, so it does hold a bit more, especially since it doesn't have that double flap, so there's a lot more interior space, but it's not quite nearly as large as the jumbo, which is just too big. So it is a perfect size. So if they were to make the medium large classic flap in the large size of the reissue, give me a call, that is my bag. And then continuing on with large bags by Chanel that I probably won't buy is going to be the Deauville tote. Now I already have the Louis Vuitton Neverfull, which acts as the same functionality for me, and I just can't justify the price point for the Deauville, seeing as it's not an all leather bag. Now I do know that they made recently the all leather version with the studs. Now I really like the fabric version, or maybe they're canvas, but I really like the look of those that I have seen, and I love the fact that it does have a shorter little handle and then a larger chain, kind of significant from the classic flap chains. But since it is a larger tote, I'm not going to be really needing that for every single day use. That's more for special occasion type. And when I say special occasion, I don't mean going to a wedding. I mean, you really need to have a specific need for carrying that many items. And if I do need to do that, then I have my Louis Vuitton Neverfull, like I said. So I just am not going to be using that every day in order to justify that price point. So that's why I probably won't be getting the Deauville. And finally, the last Chanel bag that I probably won't be buying is the Gabrielle bag. Now, when these first came out and even continue on today, I'm not a huge fan of the style. It just isn't one that would work out with my lifestyle as far as how it looks. I just don't like the total look. I'm not sold completely yet on the look, especially with the aged calfskin. Now, I had the same reservations with the reissue, but when I saw the reissue came out in that so black with the black aged calfskin and the black hardware, I fell in love with it. So maybe the Gabrielle bag just hasn't come out in a hardware leather combination that I really love yet. I don't know if that's going to change my mind, but I'm just not a big fan of the Gabrielle bag and the style and the design. If you love it, that is great. I'm so happy that you found one that you fell in love with and you could purchase, but it is just not for me at this point. I have also heard that they don't really hold their value too much, so that is another thing that I look at in purchasing bags. So even if I was iffy on it, I wouldn't be able to turn around and resell it and maintain the price that I bought it for if it ended up not working out for me. Moving on to another fashion house that is best known for its canache design, I am talking about Dior, and the bag specifically is the Diorama. Now, I really love the style and the shape and the simplicity of this bag, but the reason I'm not going to be getting this one is because it is so similar to the Chanel boy bag. It has that same boxy feel with that top flap, and these ones just don't hold their value very much, and I think that I would just be too nervous to use it given the way that it's constructed. So it does have some sharp corners, and it is made with this smooth leather with the canache design that kind of sticks out. Now, I would want this one in a lighter color if I were to purchase it, and I just feel that if I were to wear it where the canache pattern sticks out, it's going to rub, get color transfer, and wear and tear on that end really quickly, and that's why I probably won't buy the Dior Diorama bag. Next up is the Gucci Marmont bag, and this one is really cute. I really loved this one when it first came out, and it has a very recognizable logo similar to the Chanel double CC logo. The Gucci Marmont bag and logo gained extreme popularity among just about everybody. Everywhere you look on Instagram or Pinterest, everybody has this bag, and it is an absolutely gorgeous bag, but the reason I probably won't buy it is because, first off, it does not hold its structure at all. If you watch any wear and tear or review video on YouTube from people that have had this bag for a while, you'll see that the leather is so soft, it just starts kind of caving in on itself and flattening out, and since it doesn't really maintain its structure, that is going to affect its resale value if the time comes that it does go out of trend and you want to get rid of it because you're not wearing it anymore. You wouldn't be able to resell it and maintain that same amount of money that you purchased it at. And given the shape and the silhouette of the bag, I might as well just use my Chanel classic flap because it's about the same size and it has the same functionality. Next up is the Givenchy Antigona bag, and though this bag is really sleek and chic, I am kind of nervous with the shiny leather that it's going to show marks very, very easily. It's going to get gouges in it, similar to lambskin, only since it's a harder leather, it's going to be a different kind of wear. But even though you could purchase this in other leather types to avoid that wear, I'm not a huge fan of how large, boxy, and kind of awkward of style it is. It also doesn't come with a longer drop shoulder strap. It does have the top handle carry straps and then one slightly longer one, so that way you can have it kind of shorter on your shoulder, but I like longer shoulder straps or the potential to wear it crossbody. So given the fact that it doesn't have these particular items, it just wouldn't work out for me and my lifestyle, so that's why I probably won't get this one. Next up is the Fendi Peekaboo. This is an absolutely gorgeous bag as well, and I love the design where it has the different color interior and you can open it up and it kind of peeks out at you. I've also seen some that have an actual design and structure on the interior. They have like some flowers built up or things like that, just depending on the season and time it came out. But the reason I probably wouldn't buy this bag is, first off, the price point is super high for what you're getting. I would rather just purchase a Chanel bag that, again, I know is going to hold its value, and I am just smitten with the Chanel fashion house as it is, just the history and everything. So that's why I keep comparing everything to Chanel. That's kind of the creme de la creme to me. I know that Hermes is also way up there, but I'm kind of on the Chanel level right now, so that's why I'm comparing everything to Chanel. And going back to the design and the structure of the Fendi Peekaboo, I'm not a huge fan of the way it closes at the top. It just kind of closes in with the turn clasps, but it is kind of open. I prefer a nice zipper on the top just to make sure that all of my items are secure if it were to tip over. I do like the fact that these bags are completely leather and they are a little bit more unique with that peekaboo style, but they're just not for me, and so I probably won't buy it. Next up is the Chloe Niall bag. Now, I really like the color and the unique design of these, but they just don't hold that much, and they have really stiff leather and a large top flap, so you're moving this huge flap out of the way just to get down into this little compartment that really doesn't hold that much. It does have an exterior pocket on the back, but again, you can't even fit your phone in there, so you know your phone is going inside, so it's going to be difficult to access. I do like the color options and variations that they have with this bag though, and it would be nice to get a lighter colored one for the summer, but I just wouldn't use it enough to justify that price point. All right, you made it to number 13, the one you've all been waiting for, and this is a doozy of a bag. It is none other than, hold your breath, wait for it, the Hermes Birkin bag. Yes, I probably won't buy that bag, and here is why. Other than the exorbitant price point that is the price of a car almost, it just does not suit my lifestyle. Not only is it a top handle, hand carry only bag that you might be able to get over the crook of your arm, it is an extremely heavy bag as it's made of some of the most luxurious leathers that money can buy. As you can tell from this video, I am a crossbody girl who likes having her hands free, and I don't like having to have cumbersome bags in my hands or extremely heavy weights on my arms. I'm gonna save that for the gym. So I probably won't buy the Hermes Birkin because it just does not suit my lifestyle in price point or design. I hear that it's difficult to get in and out because it does have that top flap, and the way that it latches together, you're probably going to be leaving it unlatched anyways, so that also kind of poses somewhat of a security risk. Obviously, if somebody wants to give me a bag, I am going to rock it probably a few times, but it's mostly going to just be sitting on a shelf. And that is why I probably won't be buying the Hermes Birkin bag. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I would love to hear about what bags you currently have on your wish list, what bags you currently own, and what bags you probably won't buy either. If you did like this video and you want to see more like this, just give me a thumbs up, and be sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so, just to make sure that you are notified for whenever I upload a new video, which is anywhere from 2 to 3 times a week. And until next time, thanks for stopping by. There is no gosh, she's my little snore. You could fit in a Birkin bag, couldn't you? I'll just carry her around in a Birkin bag. Along the same lines. Are we fucking making a cocktail here? What do we need limes for? Along the same lines. Now we're doing lines of Coke. Shh, kids, don't tell your parents.